question is, what explains, or where does the massive funding come for the Israeli Unity Lobby? And perhaps more importantly, given that there are Arab individuals and states in the Middle East that, even though they might not be able to exert direct pressure, could fund the endeavors of a lobby, what explains the absence of an Arab lobby?
Very successful in the United States, which is a wonderful thing. We only wish that all groups were as successful as they have been. And as a result, many American Jews are quite wealthy. And Jews have a rich history of giving money for philanthropic purposes and giving money for political purposes. And they give considerable amounts of money to political candidates, and they give a considerable amount of money to universities, and art museums, and so forth and so on. And this is not only perfectly legitimate, it is actually a wonderful thing because it makes the United States a better country. But there's no question the end result for much of that giving is that you get political influence. Now, what about the Arabs? You pointed out that there are lots of states and individuals in the Middle East who have money, and therefore one would expect them to give money to balance the Israel lobby. There's a fundamental problem with that argument, and that is that the Israel lobby is comprised of American citizens. American citizens who are perfectly within their right to give money for political purposes inside the United States. Saudi citizens or Saudi groups that have lots of money are not Americans, and therefore they operate under a completely different set of rules. And it is almost impossible for them to give money in any meaningful way to influence the political process inside the United States. That tells you that what you need in a country like the United States, as well as Canada, for the Arab communities in those two countries, America and Canada, to wield influence along the lines of the Israel lobby is to organize. To do what Grace and Tom are trying to do, to organize, to raise Arab Americans, if you're talking about the United States, or Arab Canadians, if you're talking about Canada, and get them to come together in organizations and to give money, large amounts of money hopefully, and engage in the political process the same way that the Israel lobby does. But you don't want to count on the Saudis or on the Kuwaitis or anybody from overseas, because I'm sure in Canada, as in the